Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. I am joined today by the fantabulous Tori from ToriTalks, and we're just having a party today because we're celebrating 2,000 subscribers here on the channel, which is just insane. Thank you. Thank you all so much. And we're just going to be crafting. We're going to talk about what we're working on, but we're crafting, we're chatting. If you guys have questions, by all means, pop those questions in the chat. And apart from that, we're just going to have a good time. And if you've got your tea, your coffee, your probably, hopefully not coffee, if it's before bedtime, but your drinks, your snacks, get your blanket. If you've got crafts, you want to work with us, go with it. We're just going to have a good time. And we already have so many amazing people in the chat. Look at that. Thank you, Derry. Thank you so much.
I was going to say Derry could probably have coffee because she's, tomorrow morning.
True. Go for it, Derry. Get that coffee. We've got Joe here, and he's already got a question. Do you have a special insurance policy taken out on your voice? I'm thinking now I should, but I probably need to be a little bit more popular before that becomes a concern, I would think.
Disagree. I feel like you are very, very popular over here.
Thank you.
Deservedly so.
No. I'm just going to blush at that and keep going.
You can't have like a 2,000 subscriber celebration and not get compliments. That's not how that works.
I'm Canadian. We don't take compliments very well. We celebrate other people and then we just, hunker down when someone compliments us. But yes, thank you. And the answer is no. No. Joe, it should probably be something I do, but it's just not my priority at the moment. Never know, it might change.
Yeah, why spend money on insurance premiums when you can spend money on books instead?
Thank you. Right?
Priorities.
No, I wasn't going to spend the money on food. No, books. I don't need to
eat. No.
Yeah. And we have AR with them. Welcome. Good to see you, Andy. If Tina Turner can insure her legs, Kay can insure her voice. Yep.
Good story.
And we have Pete. Hey, Pete. Good to see you. And Jim. Yep. Waiting for Kay to start. Yeah. Sorry, we were chatting but we were crafting. We got sidetracked.
We were focused.
Sorry, guys. So, Tori, what are you working on? Because I feel like we need to do this intro before we go much further.
Yeah, so I before I was a booktuber and a full-time writer and mom. Well, not before I was a mom, but I had a fiber arts business where I sold everything from raw wool straight off the sheep, ironically enough, to a lot of people in Canada, and do everything from raw wool. I can wash it, spin it, dye it, make it into stuff. And I did that for about 4.5, 5 years.
Okay.
Absolutely loved it. And then needed a break from that and started doing booktube instead. So yeah, it was really fun. And it was really fun. I sent so many fleeces up to Canada because a lot of spinners up there didn't have access to the same sheep breeds that I did down here.
Oh, interesting.
So a lot of my biggest customers were up in Canada, which was very cool. So
I am really curious. Did a lot of them come from the East Coast? It's like Newfoundland.
It was pretty widespread, actually.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
It was pretty widespread. I sold to quite a few people in different provinces. So
nice. I'm curious. What was it about the wool that was so different from the sheep that you had versus what they had here?
Just different. I think different breeds, a more variety of breeds. There's long wool sheep. There's shorter wool sheep, like something like a lot of people have heard of merino. Merino is a very fine wool, but on the opposite end of the spectrum from that, you have like really long drapey locks. That different sheep breeds have, and a lot of dyers and spinners, and especially people who like to make art yarn, which is a little bit more fun and just leaves a lot of the natural lock and curl in the sheep wool in the yarn. That's a little easier to get here than it was up there. So I sold a lot of that.
Yeah, because I know merino wool is super popular here because it's used as base layers for the cold.
Yep.
So
and it's hypoallergenic, which is awesome.
Oh, I did not know that.
Mhm.
We've got John here as well. Thank you so much, John. Yeah, it's just, and look, we got Brian too. Thank you both so much. It's, in January, it'll be 3 years since I
That's
started the channel.
crazy.
Yeah,
We're all
it's,
getting so old.
yeah. No, don't say that.
Sorry, everyone except Kay is getting really old.
Thank you. I feel better now.
You're welcome.
John has a question. Kay versus Tori in a no holds barred cage match.
Kay,
Uh,
100%.
who do we think wins and why? Yeah, I don't know about that.
Kay,
Um,
100%.
I don't know. You're the barbarian here.
It's
You got
true.
the axe and everything. I don't have an axe, Tori.
Well, I mean, other people have succeeded without an axe, so I feel like that's not a prerequisite to winning.
I'll come at you with my violin. Does that work?
That's fair. You can make some really terrifying sounds with a violin.
There you go. It's very true. Still make some horrible
Yeah,
sounds on
usually
that.
for about the first 5 years you're playing it.
I still feel like that's what's happening, Tori. It's been 12 years. It's not been going good.
I played for 11 and I haven't picked it up in a very long time, so I don't wanna know
Yeah.
what it would sound like if I did now.
Yeah, I've been taking a few breaks, like summertime and holidays,
Mm,
just because having a kid changes how that
a
all
little bit,
works in the
yeah.
background. But yeah, every time I come back to it, I'm like, "Oh, I lost, like, 6 months after
Mm,
taking 2 months break."
it's an unforgiving instrument.
Oh, it's brutal, absolutely brutal.
Andy has so I can definitely vouch for the fact that Kay is a lot more terrifying than people think she is.
Oh, his comment, "I feel like Kay is sweet and lovely, and if you push her too far." Yeah. Yeah, I'm the type of person where if you do push me too far, I go quiet and I remember. That's the kind of person I am.
Brian is right though. Janny would kick us both in the butt.
Oh, hey, Jenny. Yeah, there we go. We got Jenny in the chat. Thank you, Jenny, for stopping in. Yeah, I've got crochet hook. I'm working on might sound silly, but I'm working on very simple granny squares because I'm turning them into Christmas tree ornaments as little gifts for our friends and family over the holiday season to go with some cookie boxes and stuff. And they actually make some really nice Christmas trees, which is surprising, very old fashioned looking. Yeah, I am so behind on the chat. I am sorry, guys. I'm not used to this. You guys are amazing.
That's 'cause you're
uh,
popular.
oh, you draw a crowd. Don't sell yourself short there.
Whatever.
Uh,
People aren't
Pete
here for me.
Pete says Tori spinning silver in preparation to write more of Cold Silver
That's
for
right.
Souls.
I
Yeah.
am actually spinning, so let me see. I don't know if this is gonna show up. It feels like a cloud, you guys. So this is what I'm spinning. It is a black, like a charcoal gray, merino wool with, and you can see a little bit of the shiny stuff in here with,
Yeah.
tussa silk mixed in, and it feels like an absolute cloud. It's amazing.
Okay, I have to know what size knitting needles would you use for that? Because that looks like
It's
thread.
pretty fine. Well, let's see, what is it? It's like a 22 to 28, 22 to 24 gauge. So I don't know knitting needles. I only know crochet hooks because I can't knit.
Okay, okay.
Crochet hook. Well,
Yeah.
so this is a little deceptive because I'm spinning one of the two, um, oh my gosh, yarn
Strands?
strands. Thank you.
Yeah.
I will spin a full bobbin. Then I will spin a second full bobbin of a color that's like a really pretty rosy purple.
Ooh,
And then I'm going to spin them together so it's a 2-ply yarn. Um,
nice.
but yeah, so once that happens, it will loosen up a little bit. It will be a little bit thicker, but you're probably looking at like an Aran, no, probably sport weight.
Okay, so 3.
Yeah,
3
like a
weight.
3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
So, do you still sell these? I am really curious about that.
I haven't for a long time. I have
Mm.
bins downstairs of just random stuff.
Oh, wow.
and like 80 half-done crochet projects and random mixed matched bags of fiber, some washed, some not washed.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So what you're saying is you need to get back to it and sell those beautiful balls of yarn.
Because I definitely don't need to write books or anything like that.
No, no, you
No.
can spin while you write.
I have to
Do
say though,
stitch.
this is so therapeutic. It's not as hard as people think it is. Like, it takes a little bit to get the rhythm of it, but, it is very therapeutic.
I could see that. Brian here says Tori is
Yeah.
partying like it's 1799.
It is very cool, and I'm sure, Kay, you can relate to this too, because knitting and crocheting and just
Mm,
yarn work in general has been around for ages. There's something very cool about doing a craft that women and other interested parties have been doing for, like, thousands of years.
yes.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
So
It's, oftentimes, I know for myself, like, my grandmother taught me
mhm.
when I was a kid. It was, when you visit grandma, you do what grandma does
Yeah.
kind of situation. So, like, it seems silly, but these, like, little, scissors that I
Yeah,
use are from her because she's like, "You learn, you practice, you do it at home. Here's scissors." And I still have, like, the needles, the embroidery needles from her too to sew it all up, and
nice.
so it's one of those things where it's, it's a shared tradition, but it's a handed down tradition as well,
Right.
which is a nice feeling. So, like, doing granny squares, that was the only thing my grandmother could do was granny squares. So whenever I do granny squares, I think of her.
Oh. Yeah, my great-grandmother was the crocheter in and my great-aunt. Um,
Yeah.
and I have a lot of, like, quilters in my family, um, but I'm the first spinner that I'm aware of for a long ways back, so
Yeah. Yeah, it's not something you see often.
nope.
And we have sorry, I'm trying to catch up on the chat, guys.
It's fun to craft and moderate at the same time.
It is, and have a conversation.
How good
Tim.
are we at multitasking, actually?
Yeah, let's throw reading in here just to see how
Yeah,
it
we can
goes.
start some audiobooks.
Yeah, yeah, do it all. And
What are you
Tim.
reading right now? Sorry, I'm
Oh, that's
interrupting your
okay.
chat moderation.
No, that's okay. I'm reading, The Wingspan of Treason by L. N. Bain, and I started Sledge as well by Nick
Mm,
Horvath.
okay.
So, 2 very different tone books
I
at the
Yep.
same time. But, welcome, Tim, good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. We're gonna have to get coffee at some point again because 'cause it's been a while. And, yeah, yeah, Pete agreed. Books are the best weapons. There you go. I don't need my violin, Tori. I'll just bring a book.
Yeah.
I can bring wind and truth.
Yep,
Should
that'll
be
work.
big enough? Yeah.
I don't know, though. I have the giant leather-bound Shogun, which is quite,
You
uh,
know,
deadly, so
I I've I have that as well, if we're gonna make those threats.
let's see, what else do I have?
Just one up each other.
I have Ships of Merrier by Janny Wirtz, and that is a tome and a half, so I feel like that could
Oh,
also be useful.
you might win that one. Thank you, Andy, that's really sweet, thank you. Yeah, I'm catching up, I am slow. Um, isn't Minnesota just one of these Southern Canadian states?
You know what's funny, Pete, is that there are more bookish people that live very close or within driving distance of Kayla than there are
Really?
to me. Yeah. In
How
terms of,
did
like, people that I can just go hang out with. Brian is an hour and maybe 15 minutes away from me, and we haven't actually hung out yet, which is ridiculous. Um,
Oh, I guess
but
that's true, right, you're thinking of yeah, I know who you're talking about. So Crystal, Tim,
yep.
yeah, there's a few, and then I just keep bumping into more every time I turn around.
Yeah, which is very cool. There's
Yeah.
a lot of Canadian booktube people.
There are, yeah, most of them, are authors. A lot of booktubers are they're more like 6 hours away, 4 to 6 hours away.
Sure.
But it's still, yeah, like getting to go out with Tim McKay and Crystal Matar, have coffee,
Mhm.
and like we have an event here called CanCon, so it's a
Sure.
speculative fiction
Nice.
convention. Um, I just go to the dealer's room, which is where all the authors are selling their books because that's where, I gravitate. And
Yep. Weirdly
the
enough.
amount of weirdly enough, yeah, the amount of authors that I know and I run into is it should be concerning at this point because my husband's like, "Are we ready to go yet?" I'm like, "No,
Well,
I'm still
because
talking."
Cal Black is up by you too, isn't she?
Yep, yeah. There's J. Patricia Anderson. There's let's
Just read
see.
her novella last month.
Ooh, what did you think?
I liked it. It's very good.
Yes.
Yep.
Was it
Good
the Shattered
fantasy
Spirits
horror.
one? Yes.
Well, I've read Cal's Shattered Spirits, and I just read Your Blood and Bones by J. Patricia Anderson.
Yes.
And that was quite good.
That's a great one too.
Yep.
That one I actually used as part of our uh part of the what was it? The talking about chronic pain video.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, dealt with diagnosis and stuff really well.
That was it feels like that was a really long time ago, and it really wasn't.
And at the same time, the year has just flown by somehow.
Insane.
Thank you so much for stopping in, T. That is awesome. Thank you. Yeah, Jenny, we're getting the wool out. We're getting the
Mhm.
crafting stuff out. If you want to join us for that, by all means, if you got your own crafty stuff going on. And then I think Derry said she's not a coffee drinker, but she's a tea drinker. I'm right with you. I don't drink coffee unless it's highly sweetened, and even then, I my heart can only take so much. So
I do
tea.
not drink coffee at all, so
There you go.
yep. And it's funny because, a lot of people who don't like the taste of coffee like the smell of it. I do not like
Oh,
either.
yeah, I don't like either.
See, there are some of us
Yeah,
out in the world.
yeah. It might have something to do with the working for a coffee shop and not just,
That yeah.
yeah.
I worked for an ice cream parlor that also did, coffees and espressos and stuff, espresso drinks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Um,
you come home smelling like coffee. It's not nice.
yeah.
Yeah. We've got Lantern Valley in as well. They're saying beanie music. That should be a genre of music. Yes. Yeah. Brian says, I'm going to go off the board and say Jenny wins. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't think
That's not an
Tori
option.
and I would just forfeit.
Even if Tori and I, like, teamed up together,
Yeah. I don't think
I don't think
so.
we have a chance.
No. And I'm okay with that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Lantern says violin strings would be a scary weapon.
As
They
if they break, they certainly are.
They are terrifying. Even guitar strings, any stringed instrument
Mhm,
scares me, and yet it's the type of instrument I love the most.
mhm.
Yeah.
If
Jim
you could
says,
pick up another instrument besides the ones that you already play to learn, what would you pick?
"Oh, that is tricky because so I play ukulele on the side. I
Which is
started
awesome.
Well, I picked it up for my son when he was little, and he was, they're just little infants. They can't do anything, right? They just sit there.
They they just exist.
Yes, they just exist. So
Yep.
I got a ukulele to learn how to play because it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Um, I would probably like to get better at the mandolin, but it's basically
Okay.
it's the same finger patterns as, violin.
Mhm.
It's the same tuning, same frets, but it is, different because each string is doubled. So you have 2 of each string. So it's the strumming hand that you have to figure out because you go down, up,
Mhm.
and there's different ways of doing it. So that would be interesting to get better at it. But
Yeah.
if it's an instrument I've never played. Mm, that's hard. You know what? I haven't played guitar in a long time. I'd like to be good at guitar.
Yeah.
That would be nice. I feel like guitar is just one of those things where it's just nice. You don't have to sing, just,
It's very versatile.
nice in the background. You can play a lot of different sounds out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Just nice to have if you know someone who like especially at weddings and stuff, if you know someone who plays guitar and you're just like, bring your guitar just for the
Mm-hmm.
reception after. Just chill, right?
Yep.
Yeah, those are nice. I'm gonna catch up on this chat. Terry says Jenny would survive the apocalypse. Absolutely.
Amen.
uh, yeah, thank you, Derry. I'll catch up eventually. Eventually. But yeah, you guys have fun chatting away too in the chat because that's just awesome to see. And yeah, the wool looks super comfy. Agreed. It looks like a cloud.
It feels like one. It's amazing. I love it so much.
I'm only slightly jealous.
Come visit me. I'll teach you how to spin.
Yes. Just adding the things to the list of reasons I should go visit you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty lengthy at this point.
Lantern says we're just all supposed to knit our own merch now. Yes.
I should just knit beanies. I can't. I should
Yes.
crochet beanies. Nobody wants me to knit a beanie, I promise.
So what is it with the knitting that trips you up?
It's too many needles and it's too
Okay.
slow. Like my ADHD brain is
Oh,
not patient enough for knitting.
there's a fast way to do it.
Don't tell me that.
Okay.
Well, and also like I like just having one hook.
Yeah, that's fair.
If you drop a stitch, it's not the end of the world.
Right.
Like, it's
Yep.
just, yeah,
There's not as much at stake if you mess up.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I've slowly been learning to knit over the years. So I've knit socks, I've knit hats, I've knit some things that were supposed to be things and turned out to be nothing.
Yep.
It's just how it goes. But like I know my nan, she knits stuffies. So I have like these massive Mr. and Mrs. Clauses that are just fully knit. I don't know how
Oh,
she
that's
does it.
cool.
Noses everything.
Wow.
She's incredibly skilled, and I wish I learned from her because, yeah, you just give her yarn and needles, and she'll go.
So she's a magician, is what you're saying.
Absolutely, yeah. Magic of the wool kind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We have Tamara here as well. Nice to see you, Tamara. Thanks for stopping in. And there he is, Andrew from Wizardly Reads. Good to
I
see you,
think
Andrew.
Tamara's comment was about the needle size.
Ah,
So
yeah. Yeah,
she
the
was right
weight.
on.
The weight. Yeah, you were right
Mm-hmm.
on that. In US sizing. Yeah. Thank you so much. Love and lore. Thank you. Yeah, it's the black and Derry says the black with the purple.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
I'm excited about it.
Ooh, okay. So Andy's bringing this up. The poll that I ran on Twitter and my YouTube channel about the authors that I should read in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, Hob got the majority vote on both platforms.
I'll pretend to be shocked by that.
Yeah. I also have to say the consistency of comments on Terry Goodkind were extremely consistent.
You put him on the poll?
I put him on the poll just to see what people
Oh.
would say, and 100% of people basically said no.
No.
Don't.
No.
I just wanted to see because I've heard he's popular, and I was like, oh well, let's see. We'll put him on the list. I've got the book because of the broken binding.
Oh, sure.
So
Sure.
yeah, I figured I'm like, what should I prioritize this author? The
So
other
have you
one?
not read Hob at all yet?
I've read Assassin's Apprentice.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I read it before I could fully appreciate it. I will say that. I do remember specific scenes about it. I do,
Okay.
remember the writing style and enjoying it. But I was very early on into my reading at that point. So we're talking maybe 12, 15 years ago. I read
Mm,
it.
okay.
So I just wasn't in a point where I could, I think, appreciate it as much as I could have.
Yeah.
And me being the notorious series non-finisher, I never continued.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to I do wanna read it again because now with, my reading tastes having changed and being a little bit more well-read,
Yep.
I think I'll appreciate it a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's even fun to reread things that you loved at the beginning of your fantasy journey and, like, reading them with the eyes of just being more experienced in the genre in general.
See, that scares me. What if I absolutely loved it and I reread it and I don't love it the way I did?
I think it really depends on the book. Have
I
some
get
faith in
yeah.
your favorites, Kayla.
I no, I lack faith in me. I'm talking about me. Uh, hello, Timothy, welcome. Good to see you.
I
Yes, happy
just,
Sunday.
picked up Timothy's novella and first book
Ooh,
today. Very excited about it.
I would love to hear your thoughts on it.
I'm excited. I read the synopsis for it's The Whisper That Replaced God is the
Yes,
novella,
I
and
have
I was like,
I have the audiobook for it. I'm really curious to see what you
"Nice."
think. Yes, see? Jim's got it. I can imagine Tori dictating her books while spinning yarn. You got this, Tori.
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to focus when I do my audiobooks. That's I don't think I'll be able to multitask for that.
Uh, there you go. Janny says, take your spinning to
Mm,
Seattle Worldcon. Then I have a whole crowd of folks who spin. Just get a bunch of us together. There you
that would
go.
be really fun. I can imagine that trying to get this through an airport and plane trip would be a pain in the butt.
You must be able to rent them.
Maybe.
There must be
Yeah,
like
maybe.
a place where you can rent them from
Sure. Yeah.
and then hold like a Worldcon spinning class. Not to be confused with the bicycling spinning classes.
Yes.
'Cause you will get some people coming out in workout clothes.
I mean,
It's kind
sure.
of a workout.
It's, I can tell I haven't done this for a really long time because my, hands, especially my thumb and wrist are already like, "I'm sorry, what?"
Oh, no. Yeah, I can imagine that's quite the toll. Cause crochet, knitting, it can take a toll on your
Do you
wrists and
have
your hands.
those, like, wrist sleeves that they sell for people that do crafting? Those are pretty I
No.
have a set of those for crocheting, and they're pretty nice.
Are they? I usually
Mhm.
go until my hands feel broken, and then I do a different thing to give my hands a rest, and then it turns out that thing is still hand-oriented and
I
craft-oriented.
love the commitment that's going on here.
It's self-torture.
Mhm. Yeah, well, part of it is too because I'm, rusty at this. I'm more tense because 'cause I'm trying to make sure that I'm not, like, messing it up, and so once
Mm,
I get the feel of it again, it'll be a lot more my hands will be able to relax a lot more.
yeah, absolutely. Uh, yes, Timothy is reading Sludge early next year. I hope you enjoy it. It was a great chat with, Nick the other night.
Yeah, I caught about half of it, and it sounded like you guys were having a good time.
Yeah, it was fun. He talked about how he got a shopping deal as well. He announced it on the chat. That's
Wow,
exciting.
that is exciting.
And, Joe says, "I spin, but only after drinking too much." That's one way to spin.
Mhm.
Alex, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Are you still playing with edge spraying? Any new tips or tricks? Currently, I'm not, because it's been a crazy year. However, my next thing that I wanted to try was I got some advice to use watercolor
Ooh.
paint. So I'd really like to try that, and I'm not confident that it won't bleed heavily through the pages because I feel like watercolor is the type of paint to do that.
Yep.
So I think I'd really have to do I'd like get some really crummy looking books from the used bookstore
Hey, just
and
practice.
and just practice and see what it would look like. But so far, that is going to be the next experiment as soon as life allows, because life is fun like that.
Mhm.
And there's only so many books I can willingly damage before my sanity goes. Andrew says, I want to get coffee with Kay." Absolutely. Anytime. Andrew. We'll figure it out.
I've found that getting cheeseburgers with Andrew is much more fun than coffee.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, when we were out there in June, he took Ben and I to a burger place, like a uppity burger place that was really, really good. Some of the best burgers I've
Ooh.
ever had.
There's nothing better than food with friends.
Absolutely.
That is my ideal party. Food, friends, just enjoy.
Yep.
Stuff your face. So, what are you reading right now, Tori, while I catch up on this chat?
I am in the middle of a couple of things. I'm rereading Dead House Gates, but I put it down briefly because
Ooh,
I'm buddy reading it with Nuclear Katie.
okay.
And I'm letting her get past me because I've read it before. She has not.
Hmm.
And so I don't want to say anything that's a spoiler for something she hasn't read.
Right.
So I'm letting her get ahead of me and then I'll start up again. But currently I'm reading Arm of the Sphinx by Josiah Bancroft, which is book 2 in the Books of Babel.
And
Loving it.
okay. All right.
Yeah, really
I'm
enjoying it.
I'm happy with that.
That's
Now I
right,
need
because you've read, so
we ended
what's,
up inadvertently reading book 1 together. Not
that's
planned,
right.
just ended
Yes.
up happening.
Book 1 was fine. It
Okay.
was fine. But
Yeah.
I felt like I got teased with a Motley Crue the entire book and never actually got one, which made me very unhappy.
Accurate. Yeah.
And right away in book 2, it's just Motley Crue for days, and it makes me very happy. So
Yeah, okay. I'm
it's
I'm
very
all right
good.
with that. So
I have
now
to say, in both books, the prose, Josiah Bancroft's prose is quite lovely to read.
I do really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Um, it feels very immersive, which is
Hmm.
something I love with writing styles, where
Yes.
it seamlessly switches between descriptions and dialogue.
Hmm.
Feels very natural.
Hmm.
Uh, let me see. Oh, Andrew. Andrew says you got to meet Cal Black. I am so jealous. Yeah, every time I go to, even if it's the Comic-Con, she's there. She's got a booth. So I always stop by. I
Nice.
always chat with her wherever I go. Yeah, I know we've talked about it too, and Tim can probably agree to this, or verify this. But yeah, we've talked about doing like an Ottawa meetup of all the different indie authors just to, get dinner or something and have a
Hmm.
good time.
Then post pictures of it on the internet so that the rest of us can be super jealous.
Yes, I've been tortured with the Dragon Steel and the
I
Worldcon.
know.
Yeah. I want to be there.
Yep.
Uh, all right, I'm catch. Oh, okay, we're good. Andrew, I am giving you attention. You are okay. Yeah, I'm just very slow with chats. This is why I need someone else moderating because I'm really not good with keeping up with conversations. There's like 3 conversations going on at once, right? When you're moderating a chat,
Hmm.
your own chat with the people, like with the guests you have, the chat that you have, and then the own little voice in your brain that's saying, "Don't forget this. Don't forget to talk
Hmm.
about that." Uh, so I am curious because 2025 is coming up way faster than I'm okay
Oh
with,
my
but it's
gosh.
coming up. What's everyone's reading goals for 2025? If and that doesn't have to be a number of books. It could be I want to read more books than I buy. It could be whatever kind of goal you want. But I am really curious if people are setting goals for themselves or just something to aim for the new year with their reading. I want to read this specific author, anything like that. That includes you, Tori.
I was so focused on my yarn. I was like, oh, hi.
Yeah.
um, well, I am going to read less in 2025. Well, I should amend that because I'm not putting a number on it. But
Okay.
I've read 100 books for the last 2 years consecutively
Wow.
and loved it. Had some amazing reads, but it was a lot. And I feel like I was just kind of all over the place with my reads. And this next year, I want to mood read a little bit more. I want to get to some
Mm,
stuff that I've been putting off. I want to swing. I read quite a few indies this year, but I want to like swing back and read more indie next year again.
Yeah.
Make a serious dent in my Malazan journey. So,
Yes. Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, that's a big
Yeah.
goal.
That's I I feel like there's a weight on my chest every time I think of Malazan, not because it's daunting, but it's one of those things that is just, when books and series pile up in the back of your
Yes.
brain,
Oh,
that's what it is for me. Because I did read the first 4 books and then I keep
yeah.
thinking, "Yeah, I'll get back to it, I'll get back to it." And then I blink and 2024 is gone.
Well, I'm going to do my best to get finished with the first 4 books again early in the year next year,
Okay.
and then start with Midnight Tides, which will be my first new Malazan read.
So what you're saying is you should be tempted, Kayla, and you should join me.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Duly
That is
noted.
I love that you can read my mind
Yeah.
so well. That's impressive.
Excellent. I'll think about it because I might take you up on that. Just we'll see.
I don't know when yet, but
Okay. Um, Andy is saying, "What song do you take the most joy from playing on the violin?" Ooh. So I ended up learning. I don't know if it actually has a different name to it, but the theme for Howl's Moving Castle by
ooh,
Studio
yeah.
Ghibli is just so satisfying to play on the violin. I love it. Um, for me, Howl's Moving Castle, the movie, is just one of my comfort watches. I'll
Mhm.
just put it on even when I'm cleaning, just to have the music and the soft voices on in the background. Um, but yeah, I love playing that theme on the violin. It's beautiful.
It really is. We just watched that a couple weeks ago.
Did you?
First time my kids had seen it.
Ooh, what did they think?
They liked it. Vesper, my middle one, she thought it was a little scary, which was funny because my 7-year-old was like, "So I think that this and this are really interesting," and like she wanted to do like a whole deep dive on it afterwards.
Oh,
but
nice.
but my
A
9-year-old
PSA?
was like, "Yeah, it's kind of scary. I don't know what I think of it yet." So,
Okay. All right, that's
but
fair.
that's fair, yeah. And it's, as far as Studio Ghibli films go, it's one of the, I would say, least scary or lesser scary ones.
Yeah, yeah, like,
Yeah.
my son's watched it 'cause
Yeah.
I put it on in the background. He kinda comes in when he wants to watch it. But, like, he watches Arrietty, he watches
Yeah.
Ponyo.
Yep. Oh, Ponyo's a
Um,
good one too.
yeah, they're fun movies.
Mhm.
And it's just nice to have my comfort movies be his comfort movies. That's just
Mhm.
works perfectly. Uh,
Yep.
Timothy says, "If you learn guitar, you have to play Freebird." I don't know if that's a trap or if you're being genuine, but I will look into it. I know there are some songs that guitarists are it's like an unwritten rule, you don't play it in the music store, right?
Mm.
Like
Mhm.
Wonderwall, I think, is one. So I will have to I will take that and I will look into it because I don't wanna fall into a trap if I ever go guitar shopping.
Don't wanna go to do a music store faux pas.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Uh, Jim is asking, "Do you ever write your own songs? Could you perhaps be a book bard?" I am not, musically literate enough for that, surprisingly. I can barely read sheet music, and I've been playing music my entire life. It's just never been a skill I'm good at. I can do the basic, read the notes, and then as soon as we get into ledger lines, I suddenly become illiterate in terms of music theory and stuff. So I'm not that skilled, unfortunately. But I think if I ever wrote a book, it would be fun to write about a bard.
Mhm. See, I really missed the mark. I should have made you a bard.
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry.
You're telling me you didn't catch that after the readathon?
Well, I made you a chef. Is that
Okay, that's fair.
I feel
I've
like
got like
that's still valid.
multiple. That's fair.
Yeah.
uh, yeah, yeah. See, there you go. There, Andrew. I see you. You've been here
I
this whole time.
I get messages on Voxer from Andrew on a regular basis with just all caps, "Pay attention to me,"
Really?
like, on a regular basis.
That's awesome. See,
Um
Andrew sent me a message. I replied very late because I got distracted by life, and his reply was, "I forgot I messaged you."
Yep.
We see where the love goes, Andrew.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank
I
you
think
so much
it's
too,
just that
Andrew.
he knows that I don't know. I'm easier to bother, maybe.
I can be really hard to get a hold of, and that, I do apologize for anyone who ever tries to reach out to me and I don't reply quick enough. My
Mm,
priority is always my son, so
as
if
it should be.
he, says, "Let's play out in the snow," I am going to be getting snowballs lodged in my face.
Yeah.
That's what I'm busy doing because he's not gonna be little forever, and he's not gonna wanna play games with me forever, so he gets my undivided attention while he is awake, unless I need a sanity moment with a
Yep.
cookie
In the bathroom with a
in the
door
bathroom. Yes.
lock.
Even then, I'm not safe because it's the knocking and stuff on the door.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Wow, thank you so much. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so Andy says Assassin's Apprentice is not indicative of the quality to come with elderlings. Interesting. Good to know. And of course, Derry's here with the hublub.
She's on top of it.
Avid book junkie, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. How are you doing? All right, let's try and find these 2025 goals. I'm scanning for questions, but we're going to see if anyone answered.
I think a few people did.
Sleep well, Andrew. Get some much needed rest.
Yep. Feel better.
Derry is saying she will moderate the chat. How kind. How do I do that? I just send a link? How do I send a link? I am not very technologically literate when it comes to this stuff. 'Cause the reason being is that I fail to experiment, and that means I don't learn because I don't want to break what I'm doing.
I feel that.
Yeah, I'm so
Once you get into the very basic routine of this is what I do,
yeah.
you don't want it to get messed up.
Well, and I've thought about using OBS
Mm,
for live streams, and exactly. My husband's like, "You can do it. It would be great." And I'm like, "I
it's
don't know
so
that I believe
confusing.
you."
It's so confusing.
And I even I think I told you this before where I was thinking of using a different streaming platform
Yep.
for tonight, but I didn't even wanna deal with the hassle of trying to figure out the
Yep.
platform for this kind of I might just do, like, a random test stream.
Mhm. That's what I
Um,
did.
yeah, yeah, so I didn't want it to be this
Just run
in
some reading
particular.
sprints or something some night and do a Restream has been pretty good so far. That's the one I'm using. Yeah, OBS is a
Mm,
lot. Pete just said, and I agree. I tried it when I first started, and I'm not that tech savvy. I wish I was.
yeah, I wish I was too. My husband is, but I also appreciate that he has his own hobbies and he wants to do his own things. Uh, Jim says, "I'm currently baking a pie."
Ooh, what
Ooh, so naturally cake versus pie, and which is best cake? Okay, so I actually have to put this out there. I don't like real cake, like normal cake. I don't know why. I'm not a huge fan of it. The only cake I've ever liked is the honey cake that I
kind?
ended up baking because of Palmer Pickering's Darktown.
Oh, okay.
Um, that is the only cake I will eat apart from ice cream cake. But in terms of pie, I'm a sucker for strawberry rhubarb, the sweet with the sour kind of
That's
taste.
a good one. Yep.
Yeah, with a little bit of ice cream on the side.
Mhm.
Also, I need to know, Jem, what kind of pie are you making? And dairy, yes, I sent you a link just in case you were honest and serious about doing that. Also, no obligations if you do not want to do it. Don't have to. So we have some reading goals. We have Joe wants to read a book a week in
Nice.
2025. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a good I feel like that's a solid goal.
Yeah, that's typically what I read is a book a
Mhm.
week, unless it's a novella. Um, Even then, I might only read a novella in a
Well, it
week.
gives you a little bit of a reset if you're feeling a
Yeah.
little overwhelmed.
Or if we've had 2 colds go back and back.
Ugh.
Yeah, those are fun.
Yeah, we're just
Brian oh,
on the
sorry.
out No, I was just gonna say we're on the, like, upswing of that.
It's not fun.
No.
This year's flu has not been fun.
No.
Brian is saying he wants to finish Wind and Truth. You got this, Brian. You can do it. Ooh, Derry wants to read Sun Eater.
Me too,
That would be
Derry.
interesting. I'm planning to read that too.
Nice. Yeah, that's my main priority series for next year, besides
Mm,
Malazan.
yeah. And we've got Andy says his goal is 3 Elderlings, 1 Guy Gabriel K, and 6
Nice.
Indies. That's a solid goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rowdy player, I feel you on that. I'm terrible at finishing series.
Same.
I'm trying to get better at it as well. I think my problem is I'm a magpie. So when I see something shiny,
Yep.
I just pick it up.
Which is really easy to do in our community.
Yes, you go on Twitter and it in 5 minutes your TBR is destroyed.
Or when your friends put out videos,
That too. Yep.
Say
Yeah,
they've been emotionally destroyed by a book and then you have to go get it.
And then you have to make a YouTube short on what happened.
Yeah.
Pete, I'm going to work on Read My Shelf. Nice.
Yay!
You'll have to let us know how that goes because both Tori and I and Andrew have been trying to do that.
I'm going to continue that next year. That's a big goal.
Same. Jim is saying his Goodreads goal will be 12 books. Though I have a feeling I'll likely read 20. That's all right. 20 is a great
Set
number.
it low.
Yeah. Have fun with it.
Yeah. That's what I do. I always set my Goodreads at like 50 books because I know that I will easily surpass that. And then it feels really nice because it doesn't feel like you're pushing.
Yeah. Jenny's saying we need to put the Mintons book on our list when it comes out. It's amazing. Nearly finished reading it. Good to hear. I saw Andrew's little short on that.
I
The
need to get going
pre-announcement
on that.
Yeah. Ooh, there we go. Yeah, I'm really curious about that. They kept that under lock and key.
Yeah, they did. I have the arc of it, but I haven't really. I read like a page or two of it, but I haven't.
Derry!
Ladies,
how's it going?
It's good. Congratulations, Kayla. This is wonderful news for you. Because I remember when you started, because we'd been bullying you in Discord for a while.
You were, and speak of the devil on the person who was like, do it. Evie.
It's always Evie.
It's always Evie.
So yeah, I'm really, really glad you've seen the success that you have, because you do have that voice that we all adore.
Oh. Thank you. That's still the most shocking thing to me. Absolutely is.
Hey, I had a discussion yesterday in sprints with Alan. People quite often aren't aware of the impacts they have on the people around them. And it can be really overwhelming when people get very positive in response to you.
Yeah.
So good on you for having a congrats stream, because I also find that kind of thing awkward. So yay for letting us celebrate this with you, because it's awesome. And hello again, Tori, because I spoke to you just yesterday.
Look at you just coming in being like, accept the love. Just take it.
Yeah. And I know how hard that advice is to take, because I also don't listen to my own advice. So
yeah.
But it's
hard. It's
important. Well, we're brought up, particularly as women, that to make yourself stand out isn't allowed. And so to acknowledge that actually I am good at something feels weird.
Yeah.
I'm taking up too much room. I have to back away. And I mean, I'm older than both of you by a reasonably substantial margin. But the fact that I still see this in younger women it's not upset. It's a sadness to me that it's taking so long to overcome that for women. And hopefully my best friend's teenage daughter is indicative that it's nearly gone. She takes up a lot of room unapologetically.
Oh,
And the challenge is it's really hard to even accept as a woman.
yeah.
And I have to remind myself she's doing nothing at all she shouldn't be doing, because, so it is hard. I acknowledge it's hard. So well done and congratulations.
Thank
and
you.
Joe is exactly right here in the bottom here.
Oh, there
you
she
need
goes.
to aspire to the confidence of a mediocre white man. So
Oh my
he's
God.
quite right.
There we
He is
go.
absolutely right.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He is right, though, to
Yeah.
go in just assuming people will take you seriously and assuming
Yeah.
that you will be granted the skill that you're claiming. And so,
Yeah. Thank you.
it's a very strange thing to even acknowledge still exists, but
Yeah.
very
Well,
sad.
and it's just one of those things where,
Oh,
your
I'm sorry.
family's like it. Oh, that's okay. What did
Joe
I miss?
has come back perfectly. He would
Oh.
lend his, but he's using it.
Come on, Joe. A week.
I like that. Oh,
Yeah.
so funny.
So we have, I want to bring up Derek is in the house. Welcome, Derek. Good to see
Hi,
you.
Derek. How you
Thank
going?
you so much. Yes, Stairway to Heaven is the one you don't play.
That's the Wayne's World meme.
Yep.
No stairway is the sign on the wall. But Freebird is, quite rightly, the other one that everyone who plays guitar wants to play. So,
right. Yeah. And see, that's why I get worried. I'm like, do I play that in the do I or not?
If I played an instrument, I would love to be able to demonstrate for you something in New Zealand called the Māori strum. And it's a very specific sound to New Zealand. And everybody who owns a guitar has it. And it's the sound that happens at every barbecue, every backyard party. Someone has a guitar and it's the Māori strum. And it just goes with every song ever.
Oh, I'm going to have to look that up now.
It's kind of fabulous.
Yeah.
And it's it's the most basic of basics in guitar playing. So it's become this meme culturally. But we all love it because of the fact it's saying it doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to be a good noise that we can all get together around.
Yes, that's music, right? Just enjoy it.
Absolutely. And it's a very relaxed kind of backyard thing. Genuinely nobody's trying to show off or be grandiose about, look, I can do a thing that no one else can do. It's just like, we need noise.
Have a dance.
Yeah.
Jenny asks,
Kayla, what do you want most in 2025?
What do I want most?
There's
sleep.
not a specific thing there. Just
sleep.
What are you earning?
I have a young child. I would like sleep.
I don't have a young child, but I also yearn for sleep.
There you go.
It feels like a very universal yearning.
I mean, if aside from sleep, I think it'd just be nice to have less on the plate, if that makes sense. You start a channel, you add things to your life as your kid gets older and more responsibilities come up. Less on the plate would be nice, but we'll see how that goes because that's not my personality either.
Yeah.
I'm my own worst enemy there.
It's because we have to be useful. We have to be taking up space in a way that's productive.
Or just raised by workaholics. That's also
not that can do it too.
Relatable.
I'm scrolling up a little bit here because I did miss one here from Brian. He's 2 chapters into John Minton's book, and Jacob, before starting Wind and Truth. Then he's going to go back to it. Then he's going to do the Gallant, because I know that Brian's going to be doing February. I
did the Gallant as well
for The World of Light and Shadow, and then Curse of the Mistwraith. So lots of Jenny love in the chat.
Yes, Brian, I would be really interested to hear your thoughts on the Gallant because I read that this year in preparation to read Jenny's books too. So I'm really curious what you think of it.
You're doing Wars of Light and Shadow in January?
I'm actually, I don't know, because I want to read To Ride Hell's Chasm. Yeah. So I'm terrible at read-alongs anyway. So I don't know that I could commit to it knowing that I always fall off.
Given that that's how the 3 of us met.
Well, Evie will attest to this. I don't know how many buddy reads I've fallen off the rails with her. So I'm sorry, Evie.
Yeah, that's right. We've got 3 out of the 4 readathon captains in the chat right now.
Yeah. Bex is
yeah,
saying
Evie
here,
there's a word, but basically agrees to too many things. So occasionally other people falling off a read along is probably a very healthy thing for Evie's state of mind.
It just more has to do with, yeah, that sounds like fun. I'll do it. And then the month comes and I'm like, wow, the month is gone. How did that happen?
Well, literally, it's the 16th already.
Yeah. Oh,
what?
There's 9.
I'm not
9
ready
days?
for that.
9 days left to the holidays. Nope.
I'm
I just got the Christmas tree finished, and that took 3 weeks.
We can't even find ours.
Oh, jeez.
After our lead debacle at the beginning of the year, and we had to move everything in such a great hurry, we're still missing things from where we just randomly moved them.
That's
and we
hard.
couldn't find the Christmas tree, so we had to go to a thrift store and buy a tiny cheap one because you have to have a tree.
Yeah, well, my family turns the old hibiscus into a tree now, just instead of taking out theirs. Yeah, it works great. Bex is
that would look lovely here because it would be flowering season.
That would be lovely. Here it's not. It's asleep. Too much snow for that. But
yeah,
Bex
just a little.
Bex is trying to learn how to crochet round things. It's not going well. That's hard.
I follow a lovely young woman who struggles with a lot of mental health issues, and she basically just comes on and goes, I'm really struggling and I'm trying to do a thing and it's not. She's decided the best way to learn crocheting is to learn how to make toys. She says, because then you still end up with a thing that you can gift instead of a square of thing. You're like, okay, now what? Like, that's a really good idea, but I'm still learning how to knit. I can't learn how to do a different thing as well.
Yeah, it's tricky trying to go between the two. And for the square comment, because I don't know if I showed, I'm still working on my granny squares, but this is what the tree looks like once it's all
that's so pretty
sewn up. And then you just do a little crochet trunk on the bottom and then put a little ribbon in it. And there you go. There's your crocheted
you could sew
tree.
two together and you could then just stand it somewhere and as like a little cone.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah,
it can be
all
like
kinds of things.
A mantelpiece thing.
There you go. These are going to go.
You could make it a weight to hold stockings on a shelf.
Oh no, that no.
Sorry, this is just what my brain does when I'm crafting. I get halfway through something I haven't finished yet, decide how to make it more complicated, and then need to craft a second thing to make what I've thought up in my head work.
See,
and then I end up with a room full of half-done not things.
My brain immediately went to my child will destroy that and somehow get a head injury in the process. That is where my brain is at. So yeah, it's a lovely idea, but not for my house right now.
Well, stop.
Tamara is a mood reader, but wants to read more of their bookcase in 2025. Yeah, rather than buying new books. That's a huge one. And Brian, I might take you up on that because that is the platform I was considering for the live streaming.
Yeah, although Evie's tried several now, and she's saying, the learning curve's too much, and she's just going to go back to StreamYard. So it must be a bit of an issue because StreamYard's costs just went mental.
Insane.
Well, I use the free version, as you can tell by the
me too.
StreamYard logo in every video. But there are some basic differences between the free versions on different platforms that kind of puts StreamYard out of the competitive field in that. So I'm considering other ones because the quality of the videos are better for the free versions. You get more options like pulling up the live chat into the video itself, and that's all free. So supposedly, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how much brain power
all the other YouTubers to find out the best one. I'll just wait till they've decided and join whatever one they've decided.
There you go. You'll just join the horde there.
I did. Damar dropped in wanting to say congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
So it's lovely to say that. And I wanted to add too, with the comment on reading the shelves. Tori, your recent video on things about reading in general, you're hoping to, alter it next year. I loved that you said you've catalogued your shelves and you're going to number randomize your TBR.
Yep. So excited.
That is so excited. Because I'm changing my spreadsheet. I could add that as a function on my own spreadsheet.
I have seen that on several other booktubers videos, and I was sitting there and I was like, that's a really good idea.
Yeah. Like a really good idea.
It makes it more
Okay.
spontaneous, and it kind of gets you into areas of your bookshelf that kind of get left behind
get forgotten.
sometimes. Yeah.
And
So.
because that happens to all of us, doesn't it? You're reading something, you're like, yeah, I am still interested in that. I'm just not feeling it today. And then the next time you actually might be feeling like it, it just doesn't even occur to you. And so the moment is lost again and
lost
again.
in the shelves.
Yeah.
Tamara is knitting a hat while they listen. I love it. I love it. Get all the crafty people in.
Yeah, man. I was going to pick up my cross stitch, but I just didn't.
That's all right. You're here for the chats and the good times. Whether or not you are feeling up to crafting, all optional.
I'm still trying to mend my girlfriend's greenhouse, and I'm waiting on Temu deliveries of tape.
Okay.
So, because Temu delivers to New Zealand free. Rest of the world, take note.
Yeah.
This is a very valuable thing to consumers in New Zealand.
Oh, I love it. Lorena. Sorry, I'm just going to read this one here. Reading all the books you strongly suggested I buy at the book fair. Yes, that is a priority.
I'm just trying to see where that message even is. It must be a long way back.
Pokemon Cup. Yes, we got the Pokemon love.
Oh, we're way back up here. Okay.
I'm going to go blow my nose because I got like a little bit of fiber somewhere on it, and it's
it's driving you mental.
It's driving me nuts.
Yes.
So I'll be right back.
Yeah, that's something with any kind of textile crafting is you end up with that fluff. And you blow your nose later and you're like, why do I have purple in my hanky?
Yeah.
Really? And you're like, oh, that's right. I was doing that with the purple wool earlier. And
all flies out. Jim is making a mixed berry pie.
Oh,
that sounds
interesting.
lovely.
That New Zealand and a lot of European countries as well, we have a tradition of savoury pies, not sweet ones.
Yeah.
And it's a very big thing in New Zealand to have a meat pie, and it's all individual ones. So you can go to any petrol station in New Zealand and they will have a pie warmer on the counter with hot pies of various flavours, whether it's steak and cheese or butter chicken. You can get a butter chicken hot pie.
What?
Yeah, seriously, it's amazing. You can get chicken and vegetable pie, and having a hot pie for lunch is totally normal. There's an annual pie competition in New Zealand where we literally have a huge competition about who makes the best pies, and there's maybe 20 categories. It's like savory pie, sweet pie,
that's intense.
Niche pie. I think one year a cranberry and brie pie won it. And seriously, pies are the way to go.
Yeah, I actually grew up with meat pies.
Than cake.
I grew up with pies, and we did have the meat pies. It was considered the poor man's meal.
Yes.
The way my grandmother made it. But we would have it for dinner. We have a British bakery here now too, and they sell like steak pies and the pork pies and everything. The Empire cookies. I spent way too much money when I went in there.
One of my favorite pies that sound revolting is a steak and kidney pie. And it just sounds hideous. It sounds like why? Why would you eat that?
Nope.
I don't know why, but it's delicious.
Okay.
I don't know who made it up because, what's wrong with you? But, oh my God, it's so good when it's done right. Oh,
yeah.
Anyway,
the
very next post up here was a question for both of you. You guys, if you could have a hidden room in your house and it can't be a library, what kind of room would it be?
You go for it, Tori.
Oh, weapons room, easily.
Love that.
It's like a hidden room with a bunch of like swords and daggers.
No time at all.
Yeah, axes. Oh yeah, like a barbarian weapons cache. Absolutely. Also, I don't know if you guys can see this.
Hi,
but this is Novia.
Novia?
Hi.
A 13-year-old cat. Yeah, this is her favorite way to sit with me. She loves when I hold her up and she just drapes her arms down and like completely
just hanging out.
Yeah.
Very trusting cat.
Oh yeah, I've had her since she was 6 months old. So
Yeah, our cat's not like that, and we've had her since she was a kitten. Well, she's trusting, but not that trusting.
Yep.
Motsy's too grumpy. Although when I hold Motsy won't sit on my knee, I have to have my hand under his feet. So he just gets too heavy to hold for very long because it's an awkward height to try and hold him. But he's literally curled up in bed right now, middle of the day, and he's under the covers in bed.
I wish.
He's a strange cat.
Jim, I feel like that shouldn't have been that surprising, though.
How fast that response was. That was just marvelous.
I mean,
I still can't come up with an answer because I feel like I have my room. I've got my room.
That's true.
This is true.
I've got it's like a mix between a music studio and library. So I've got the library on one side with the little reading corner, and then just enough space to practice the instruments. And it's kind of it's perfect.
It's nice.
Perfect the way it is.
No. Have you got a cool entryway?
No, that would be the part I'm missing. So,
Boring.
Could do like a wardrobe door into your
yes
room.
The Narnia.
Yep.
Narnia entrance.
I can't remember who it was talking about it, but somebody was saying they knew somebody with wealth who had hidden rooms in their house. That person is doing it right.
Yep.
Also, we just have to say welcome to Nico. Thank you so much, Nico. Nico's going to be reading a lot of Guy Gavriel Kay.
Nice.
Nice.
I'm hoping to read my first Guy Gavriel Kay next year.
Ooh, Brighton is doing pre-Tolkien.
He's also going to do Discworld. Don't think I didn't forget, Britain.
Oh, there you go.
I remember. I will hold you to it.
You're on Derry's list now.
There you go. Yep.
I remember. And I might add a matching GGK quota. So that's exciting.
Ooh. So, Derry, I will just let you know now in an exclusive that there will be a Pratchett book in the running for my book of the year. So.
As if you leave it
so happy.
I don't know if it's going to win yet, but it's up there.
No, but it's in the running. That makes me so happy.
Absolutely.
You read a lot of books. So that's exciting. It puts it in the kind of top 5%. So
yeah. Oh yeah. It's in my top 3. I can't, my top 3 is going to be a nightmare to pick between. I can't, I already know what they are. And I'm just like, ugh, it's going to be so hard.
You will upset no Discworld fan ever anywhere by going in its completely own separate category is Discworld. Because trying to compare Discworld to other books that we all love is really hard.
Well, and that's the thing.
Like, really hard.
The 3 that are up there are so apples to oranges that
how do you compare
how
them?
do you
There's no commonality that you can say one is better than the other at X.
Well, they're all up there because of their characters. Because that's
but they're just different things. What they're trying to do with their characters. Really crazy.
I want to highlight this quickly. Sorry. Why is it that everything I start watching something with Derry in, she's saying the nicest things? Yeah, because she's just the nicest person. That's why.
She's like the booktube mom.
You all fool.
Yeah. Take your own advice, Derry.
It's hard. It is really hard. But it is also why I am so vocal to people who struggle with the same thing I do. Because, guys, you're awesome.
And likewise. Brian too is saying, I feel like Tori is in Skyrim waiting to give me a quest to deliver the wool.
Avid book junkie was going to collect Stephen King books.
Oh yeah.
I was going to say the spinning wheels in Skyrim made me very upset because they are not correct.
Oh, are they not?
No. I have to look up a picture again, but I remember like when I went back and played the game again, I was like, that's not how that works. In movies, it happens all the time too.
Yeah, I imagine.
So I know I've answered this question already from Janny, but Jim's comment was, I'm just imagining Kay with the one ring with that question. I chose sleep. I could have picked anything and I could have picked treasure. I didn't know that was possible, but sleep still stands.
but sleep is like treasure. Let's face it, because it
Yeah.
revitalizes the soul.
Even like
It's not
Even
restful
just
as you get older.
oh, and 2 hours off? If I don't get the full sleep, I'm useless. I'm useless. That's why it's like
Yep.
9 o'clock hits and my brain's done functioning. We have Christopher Warman, and welcome, Chris.
Hey.
Good to see
Hi.
you.
Oh
And
my
we
goodness,
have
Christopher, I've got your book on my to read for literally since it came out.
It's so
And
good.
it's so
still
good. I
sitting
just finished
in the
it.
top row of my Kindle going, read this next. And I'm like, I'm
Yes.
gonna, but somehow I haven't yet. I
You'll have to
totally
tell us
planned
when
it.
you do. Andrew is back.
Just didn't ride Hell's Chasm. Okay.
We were talking about To Ride Hell's Chasm, I think.
Yes.
I just did, I think. is
Yeah,
what
he just
said.
finished it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Andy calling you right out. Aren't you supposed to be in bed with cough medicine? Andrew, what are you doing? I couldn't stay
Oh,
away.
well, it turned out that Andy then bribed the children to wake him up.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Zamar. Good to see you, Zamar. Thanks for
Hey.
stopping
Was
in.
Matt.
Speaking of books that are on my like immediate TBR,
I want to know what you think.
I'm so excited. I
We
can't
need
wait.
to chat.
I have them. They're literally right behind my spinning wheel right there.
Nice.
Oh, wait, Brian, what are you calling us out for? It's such a Canadian thing to say process. Tori and I say process.
Process.
Depends on what coast you're from. East Coast will say
I'm a
process,
process
darling.
That's
person.
because compared to Kayla, we're Southern, so we have to say process.
Well, East Coast
Totally.
might have it too. East Coast would have
Oh.
that a lot. Yeah, what's your process, darling?
Yeah.
Process, ducky.
I think it's
it
blurring
different?
a lot too, because TV has just enough of everybody else's accents that
Yeah.
everybody picks up bits of different accents now.
Yeah.
It's really strange when you're in New Zealand, literally the other side of the world, and there'll be a kid saying something and it sounds like he's just been in Brooklyn. And you're like, honey, you're from Lower Hutt.
Brooklyn is a fun accent, though.
Yes.
Oh, God, man.
It's
What
so
the hell?
fun.
Avid book junkie. The worst part is finishing a book and looking at your shelf and wondering what's next.
The analysis
Yeah,
paralysis.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's where that random ISA for the spreadsheet is such a good idea. Oh,
okay. So Jim's saying the meat pies are called pot pies.
Pot pies. Yep.
In the States.
They're so good.
okay. Pot pies.
Yep.
There you go.
They mean something very different in New Zealand. Just saying. The New Zealand pie competition, someone mail me there. It is so good, and it makes the pages of the newspapers. Like, their pie awards are in. These are what I've won. And the bakeries that produce them get a certificate they can display for the year.
Oh, cool.
That's
so
awesome.
It can be some little local bakery in a small town. But if they win a pie award, there are people who will travel on their little holiday tours through that small town to try the pie.
Right.
So it's a reasonably big deal for small bakeries to win.
It's like a Michelin star.
It really is.
Yeah.
And there are pie places that genuinely work on producing the best pie for next year, and they will test it on their local customers. So it's this industry thing that everybody kind of gets behind. It's just this nice thing that happens.
A nice thing with high stakes.
Yeah. And we just end up with some really yummy things.
I love it. Janny, how many books do you own? You've got 5 seconds. I can't count that fast, Janny.
Over 800.
I have a spreadsheet. It's in the 800s.
Yeah, I'm over 800.
I'm the worst booktuber. I have no idea.
I only know that because I cataloged my library.
I don't have a spreadsheet. I don't have a catalog. I'm going to read that.
I love that for you, Kay.
In fairness, Kay, I'm now in almost to my 5th year of BookTube, and this is the first time I've had a catalog, so it's not like you're behind.
Well,
and I did start my book spreadsheet when I had 12 books.
Oh, see, that helps.
So,
yeah,
because I'd got out of a relationship and I was just before buying what I could afford every week to put on my Kindle.
Right.
And so it was easy to create as I went. I can't imagine doing it now. Although I do know there's a thing you can get that's like a little barcode scanner. You can just flip your way through your books and it gives you a database of your books.
No way.
I want one.
Oh, okay.
Really
well,
badly.
I want that now. Yeah, I want that.
Yeah.
That would make things so much easier because the big big hurdle to starting is you have to start
It's
from
like I've got
scratch.
to list all of this lot.
You
Yeah.
How
just
many hours
so
will
what
that
I
take?
did, I just sat on the floor and I went shelf by
Mm.
shelf and
Yeah.
alphabetized it, and yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
it's
Once you
so
list them, you're good
daunting.
to go. But
I loved it. Was actually really therapeutic to do it. Like, I would love to come to your house and
Mm.
catalog your library for you.
Do it.
I would
You're coming.
absolutely do that.
I will feed you, Tori.
Deal.
that is a win-win
No
situation.
kidding.
But yeah, it's I'm busy rebuilding my spreadsheet because I want it to function differently, and I'm tired of tweaking it because I've got so many
Mm.
tweaks in my spreadsheet now. I'm like, hang on, which way did I do that? I've got really complicated formulas now because I'm like, no, just start again.
Yeah.
Build it how you want it so that it will do what you want it to do. And I'm
Yeah.
halfway through this process, and I want to get it done before the end of this month so that I don't have to double up what I'm doing with my spreadsheets, because I have to keep my old one accurate so that when my new one is finished, it will match for the turnover point.
That's so much attention to detail. You'd be surprised I worked as an office administrator. It was work stuff, and I don't want to take my work stuff home. If that makes sense.
No, I get it. But I'm still finding it oddly satisfying.
That's
Because
good.
I've had to really think about, what do I want to measure?
Yes.
What are the things I want to keep track of? Do I need to know what genre the book is when 90-something% of my books are fantasy? This is a redundant piece of data I don't need to be collecting. And yet there's data I want that I haven't been collecting. And so, I want to keep track of things like the translator. If it's a translated work, do I create a separate list for that? Or do I add it into the narration column, which is eventually what I did. But this is the lovely thing I got to do, was actually think about, what do I want to keep track
of? What do you want to
try?
What's important?
What do I want to see when I open it up to the fun page, when I've finished all my data, when I bring it all together into graphs and tables and charts? What do I want to be able to go, oh, I'm doing well in this thing, and I need to do better here. It's fun. It's an OCD.
I was going to say, I love your passion for it.
Feeds my OCD in a reasonably healthy way.
That's right. Keeps you organized. If it keeps you organized and it helps your reading, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Daniel, welcome, Daniel. Good to see you. He's saying, if I had a hidden room in my house, it would most definitely be a library. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Can't go wrong with a library.
Who was I watching? Am I alone? Or is that new thing that has come out, the book embosser, an abomination that shouldn't exist?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank God I'm not alone.
Like,
I keep saying it. Why would people do that to their books?
fully support people doing what they want with their own books.
Yeah.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
And also,
not.
I don't know. And this is coming from somebody who's now like highlighting and writing in her books and all this stuff. But
I don't know
the
why
embosser just, I don't know. It I cringe, I twitch a little every time I see somebody. Yeah. And I know Gavin from Gavin Reads It All, he's been doing the embosser toss vlogs, which have been really fun to watch. But every time he crunches the page, I'm just like, oh.
I don't know. It feels like a mutilation, where I don't know. Oh, I like this. But
I mean, if you
absolutely
know that you want to keep it, sure. But
I don't care. I'm not embossing these. No way in hell. And they're going nowhere.
Yeah.
In fact, they may be buried with me if I get buried. They're going nowhere. These are mine. I'm still not embossing them.
There you go.
I even went out and bought special clear tabs for the day I eventually start annotating, because I'm going to follow your advice, Tori, and start annotating. I bought clear ones. So even when there's tabs, it's the very palest bit that hangs out. So they're almost completely innocuous.
Yeah.
And don't in any way
I think those are the tabs
harm
that I
or
use.
mar my book, because it's a treasure. I love how that looks, though. I do admit, I love how that looks. And that's why I want to tab my
It's so satisfying when it's done.
Mine would look insane.
I'm tabbing and I'm non-permanently annotating Dead House Gates right now. And so I've got all the tabs in there, and I'm using Post-it notes to do my notes. And like when you do that with a chonky book, it's so satisfying.
I bet.
Yeah.
It is. I am excited.
I just noticed Daniel's comment about this not being the first time an indie author is writing Kayla into a story. I have to ask, Kay.
Yeah.
How many times have you been Tuckerized that you know of?
That I know of? Twice.
Okay.
Twice. I think the first one was
that
Joe.
You know of, I think.
Joe.
That I know of. The first one was Joe. And you're the second. Technically, there is a third. However, the author hasn't been writing. So I don't know where the process for that one is. It's not released, and it's been in the works for a couple years if they're still working on it. But yeah, just the two that I know of. If there's authors watching and you did Tuckerize me, tell me, because I would love to know. I won't be able to tell.
That's really cool, though.
Yeah,
really cool.
It's such a surreal experience. Like the quotes on the back of books, I'm still blown away that authors care enough to put me somewhere in their books or on the books. I'm just so honored. It's still one of those things that doesn't feel like reality, if that makes sense.
But you do such a good thing in the community, though, of bringing new authors to a community. And I imagine to any author, and I'm sorry if I'm speaking wrongly for the authors I can see in the comments, who really appreciate that you do this and you do it with integrity. You're not doing it to get something out of it. You're doing it because you love stories and this is something that is a joy for you. This is a tiny thing they can do to show you that you've made a difference. And I love that for you. I love that so much for you. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Do an important thing.
No, it's I remember what it feels like when you're starting something new. I started too many things now, but I remember that feeling of being new to a community, not knowing where to go, not knowing what to do, and then trying to advertise yourself on the internet is near impossible.
Oh, it's so hard.
So, if I have a platform, and I'm doing this, by all means.
These are your people.
Yeah, exactly. I just want people, when they come to the channel, I want them to have a good time, find some new books to read and enjoy. And just, people say the channel is cozy. I love that because I want people to come. You had a stressful day, come sit down. Let's talk about books.
Yeah, just hang out.
That's all I want. That's all I want people to do. So yeah, it's still flabbergasts me every time. I'm just so thankful.
Yeah. Well, Jenny's had to go. So it's been amazing that you came to congratulate Kayla. Thank you so much for your time. It's a joy that you're part of our community because you are. And we will see you at some point in somebody else's live stream.
Thank you so much, Jenny, for stopping in and chatting with us. I really appreciate it.
And, Joe's saying he's acknowledged you in a bunch of his.
Yes. Joe's the first one who I know that Tuckerized me. Yeah.
And coincidentally, there's been a couple of Kayla's in Derek's books. But they were discovered before he found you.
There you go. Yes, I did. I did notice that. I did notice that, Derek.
I like that. I think that's one of those sort of preemptive moments of kismet.
Yeah.
Because then you're going to go, oh, a booktuber called Kayla. Well, clearly,
that's it.
This is a connection I need.
Yes.
So
it is fun when you're part of a community like this where everybody's so tight knit that like the Easter eggs for the people that know are just it's fun as an author to kind of, and it is like we all write characters that have some basis in reality somewhere, right? Like and so it's really fun to like give a character an infusion of somebody that and
I'm nodding like I know. I don't write. I'm just, I'm being supportive. I assume as an author,
having watched Kayla bake and the way she talks about food and all of that stuff. So her character, Tuckerized character in the book I'm writing right now, is a cook, and the way I've been having fun describing the things she's making. Like the way that, or after watching all of Kay's like baking videos and all that kind of stuff.
Oh my God, they're so good. Oh. They're like the best ASMR. They're so great.
They're so good.
That's something I'd love to get back to doing. 'Cause it takes a lot more time. So
Yeah.
if you've ever baked or cooked a recipe, double that time because you're constantly moving the camera, setting up shots. It takes a long time to record them. And I
And
have
that's if nothing goes wrong.
well, and that's if nothing goes wrong, and things have definitely gone wrong. Like not pushing record when I should know better by now. But then I'm also on the schedule of someone's gonna be like little toddler's gonna be home from school in a specific time frame. So try and fit all that. So I've had some people be like, "Oh, you should do this massive recipe. It takes like 3 days to do because you marinate." I'm like, "I can't. I cannot."
No, that's way too
I
much
cannot.
effort.
And I do have a rule. My son will not be on camera.
No, and
He's
fair
entitled
enough.
to his privacy. So, like, I don't record even if he's awake, right?
No, and fair enough
So
too.
that's also a hurdle, but yeah.
Absolutely. And I appreciate that you do that for
Thank
your little
you.
ones.
Yeah.
And same with Tori. We don't see your babies either. We know they exist. You've
Yep.
quite freely include them in discussions about what's happening in your life, but their privacy is their privacy.
Well, and
And
it's
I
for
respect
me, like,
very much
as
that you both
because
do
my
that.
kids are older now, 12, 9, and 7, and so they've asked me before, "Mom, when can I be on a video with you and stuff?" And it's
Yeah.
not that I wouldn't love that, but it's not that they at this point, obviously, they could consent to being on the video if they wanted to. It's more they don't have any concept of what the internet is at this
No.
point, and I do, and I'm like,
Horrified.
"You are too young. I do not want anyone on the internet seeing your face right now because
Yeah.
I don't trust it." So,
It's
and
too
it's
easy
hard
for
because we're in a very supportive, wonderful community, but we don't know, like,
No, we
you
don't
know?
know.
So,
And let's be fair, we have had instances in the past in the community that have shocked it a lot.
yes.
When
Mhm.
things have come out. And it has resulted, I think, in an even tighter knit community.
Yep.
But it's still shocking when those things happen.
Well,
And
and it's still the internet.
Right.
of the
It's
internet.
So
yeah.
even outside of the community. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
there could
doesn't
be
take much.
anyone watching.
So
Yeah.
I appreciate that you both do that. I love here that Avid Book Junkie only found your channel like a week ago, Kay, after you recommended it, Tori. And I love that.
Oh,
and
thank you.
you're being written into one of Avid Book Junkie's stores.
No way.
Hey, he just said so.
No. What? No.
That is a carrot.
Remember when I said I don't take compliments well?
I think that's so cool.
Thank you. That's awesome.
But it's nice because it means that you have quirks that are nice things that people want to then create in a character that's a background character. They're like, oh, that's a nice thing I can add to this background character.
That's exactly it. I just want to be the person in the back baking the cookies while eating the cookies too. But baking,
making the smells.
Luring
all of us into you're luring us all into the traps is what you're doing.
The positive influence, or in Joe's case, the fighter one, get that in there, get the anger out.
Yeah. Oh, lovely. That's Tamara. More loves and good nights and congratulations.
Thank you, Tamara. Thank you so much for joining us.
And have a lovely evening. I do like your little profile picture of the squirrel. He's
very
gorgeous.
cute.
That is adorable.
Very gorgeous. I have a lovely squirrel story. I was visiting family in the UK and I was in London, and Hyde Park is known for squirrels. The squirrels in Hyde Park, just ordinary, squirrels. And there was a pair of Japanese tourists trying desperately to get a photograph of a squirrel on a tree trunk. And it was doing the shuffle around the tree sideways as they followed it with the camera. And the most hilarious part of that was 2 feet behind them was a squirrel watching them do this. And I just about wet myself with laughter because I didn't want to laugh out loud to make the squirrel run away, but I couldn't control myself. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. They were trying so desperately to get this highly camouflaged squirrel in a camera shot, and there's one literally on the footpath behind them.
Just, it's like a cartoon.
Brazenly kind of going, what are you doing? It's like, oh my goodness, that is so perfect. And I thought, if I move, if I make any noise, he's going to leave. So I can't take a photo of this myself. But as a snapshot in time.
Yeah. Those are some skittish squirrels, because here we have some that are just, you're like, shoo, don't get closer, shoo, go away. Like, get away from me.
I think part of it is I think it's the grey squirrel is protected in the UK. You're not actually allowed to interact with them too much. So they are naturally kind of skittish because nobody approaches them.
Right.
But yeah, it's
feed them.
Yeah.
Here too.
It was just so strange.
Yeah.
Jim has a suggestion. Kate, you've got to do a yearly wrap-up video of all the books you were featured in that year.
Oh my God. If I know them.
There you go, authors. You're going to have to shout it out and make Kay aware of all of the people that she's impressed.
Yeah, clearly. I know of a few, but I don't know. I could make a full video out of that.
You know the authors. Bring them in.
There you
Get them to talk about the books that you're featured in.
I love it. I am curious, though. I want to know everyone's recommended read for 2025. What's the one book you think everyone else should read? That's something I want to know, because we all need a good, TBR.
Like from our reads this year, or just in general?
Just in general, yeah.
What is one book? Because I gave it to Fine for her video that will come out soon.
I gave mine to Fine.
I did too. What did I say?
I know what I said, because I almost said it and went, I can't say that.
My brain is such a sieve, you guys. I don't remember what book I gave her. I gave her the clip 2 days ago.
Say mine, Tori. I've been shouting about it for years. Someone needs to read it other than you.
Nomads of the Sea.
Thank you.
I love that. Yes. For a minute, you're like, hang on. Kate, what was the one?
Okay. So this is quite good for everyone.
Quite good.
Yes, it's quite good. It looks intimidating. It is very easy to read. Do not let the size fool you.
I remember when you were like, the cover is misleading.
It is, because it looks a little bit, I don't really think that deeply about covers usually, but for a lot of people it looks very kind of romance-y-esque, which I can understand. It's not. It's a
quite brutal.
Seafaring. It's very brutal. It's seafaring warfare. It's excellent character work. Really, really like the characters. And yeah, just a really solid, like, tribal warfare seafaring trip.
Nice.
So I did a really good job selling that.
It's a great
I actually remember when you read it, and I think it was a wrap-up or a specific review.
I did a review for this one. Thank you. Yes, it's been a while since I've read this, so my brain is like, who is she? We don't know her.
So it's multi-POV, follows the son of an ambassador who does not want to be an ambassador. He wants to be a warrior. And then it also follows a healer caught in the war.
Oh, okay.
So very interesting perspectives, interesting world building. There's stuff that you would not anticipate to come up. It feels like a low fantasy, and then all of a sudden, just bam, stuff hits the wall. Very interesting world. Yeah. Good characters.
I like that.
This is why you all should subscribe to Kayla and not me for book reviews.
No.
Not
for every subscription I get, double Tories and dairies. There you go.
Really? No, but like, come on.
Yeah. So, Derry, what would be yours?
I have actually had a second to think about it, and my number 2 recommended, because Fine got the first one, is an old book, and it's part of Mercedes Lackey's Valdemar series, but it's a standalone within the series and is a good place to start. And it's By the Sword by Mercedes Lackey. It was written in 91, I think. I should know this. I'm literally in the middle of making this video.
I was born in 1991.
It is copyright 1991. Geez, I'm good. And it's a standalone. And it follows a young woman in a very typical fantasy world, but she is not a typical fantasy girl. She also isn't written like a not like other girl. She's just capable, and she doesn't always succeed. The book opens with her keep under attack. A mage is involved, makes the men renders the men unable to go on a rescue mission. But if the girl who was taken and stolen away doesn't come back, it's going to cause a lot of big problems. So there has to be a rescue mission, but no one to undertake the rescue mission. So she's like, well, someone has to do this, and just goes by herself. And we follow her basically from that point into her adulthood, and she's just very competent. And she goes and she learns things to make herself more competent. She ends up as a mercenary in a mercenary arms company. She then becomes a small commander within that company. You get some of the things the company are employed to do and what happens and how she does stuff. And she's just competent at stuff. And when things go to custard around her, she copes and deals and finds a way, and isn't always like blazingly like she's not like, I'm the hero. She just gets it done.
Yeah.
And I love her as a woman in fantasy. I just love her so much. Occasionally there's a love interest, but her job and her abilities are more important. And she's like, I'm literally not going to marry you because I'm not arm candy. And I'm not turning into arm candy for you. And I was like, I love you. I love you so much. So yeah, By the Sword by Mercedes Lackey. Really great little standalone. It's reasonably low stakes. It's part of a bigger story, but it does stand alone. So if you don't want to keep going, you don't have to. And if you do want to keep going, she is a key character in quite a few books later in the story. So
good to know.
Yeah. That's my number 2. If anyone picks that up next year, let me know, because no one I know has read it except Brian Lee Durfee did a review of it a few months ago.
Oh, is that where you found
it? Out of nowhere.
Is that where you found it, or did you know about it before?
No, I've been reading these for years.
Oh, okay.
I think I probably picked this up in the early 90s.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I've been reading Mercedes Lackey for a long, long time.
Nice.
I was literally in my teens.
Oh, I love the dedication to it as well. Just that you've had such a passion for it for so long, right?
There are more books in the Valdemar world than there are in the Disc world. And
wow. Yeah, that feels like hard to beat.
Well, yeah, it does. And she's so prolific. She's got multiple series with dozens of books aside from this one. And so she's been really prolific. She came out with 2 books last year in this world. There's another one due out this coming year in 2025. And I think there's another one due either at the end of 25 or the beginning of 26. Like she's still really, really prolific.
Yeah.
And her world building is fabulous.
Okay.
It all intertwines perfectly.
I've known about the author for a long time, but never seriously considered reading their series yet, because it's one of those things where I know that they've written a lot, but where do you start? And then that's a whole process of trying to research and figure out where to start. As you might recall, Derry, from the time I tried to do Discworld, I'll get there eventually.
But hey, it's one of those things, and it's why my first video was Discworld is a lot, and here is some advice as to how to go about it.
Yeah,
because when you read them as they come out, it's nothing. It's a book a year. You're like, and suddenly you've read 30 odd books, and you're like, it's not that daunting. And then you're like, oh,
completely off base here because I haven't read them yet, but I have a distinct feeling that Kayla would really love the Witches series.
Oh, she would, absolutely. Yeah. But I say this, let's be fair, about most Discworld to anyone. But the Witches,
but I feel like
I love them. They're my favorite.
City Watch is to me as I think Witches is going to be for Kayla.
Yes, because Kayla understands the not that you don't understand. That's not the sentiment I wanted to put in that sentence. Kay, I don't know. I feel that Kay is more connected with the theming in the Witches stories, which are that women are so very key in this societal binding, and the way that women have to use a very quiet kind of power to keep the world safe and to use very homely skills in a powerful way.
I'm very excited to
make huge impact. I mean, I love the Witches. I absolutely love them.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm gonna take that to heart, I think, because my problem is there's too many choices. There's too many
Right.
Yeah,
places
and
to
I
And
try
start.
like,
and get away
I'm
from the
trying
stories
not
when
to
I
just
push Discworld.
bully you into reading City Watch first.
Oh,
If you do, I will not be upset.
I wouldn't either. No, that's not a
um,
sentence. But
I
City Watch is
have
going to talk social commentary, it's going to talk bigotry, and it's going to talk injustice. If you want to read witches, you're going to get fantasy, and that's too much like all of the other covers.
I did get guards.
Guards, yeah.
Just
So
because
social
it's
commentary off the charts in the
yeah,
Guards book.
It's so good. And the characters, it's so human. I love
It,
it. It's so human.
yeah.
And the characters, the Motley Crew in City
you
Watch
know them.
makes me so happy. These are characters that they live rent free in my heart for the rest of my life. Like, I love them.
Yeah,
No.
they're people we know. They're the
Yep.
cliche people that are part of every community, which sounds awful, but they are.
No.
There's a character
Yeah.
in the City Watch books, and I know he's your favorite. It's Fred, and I just adore Fred. I know a Fred. Everybody knows a Fred. He's that middle-aged guy that never really had aspirations for anything fabulous. He's just kind of plods through
Well,
life and
I'm not sure
picks up
actually.
stuff from the pub.
So
You know?
Carrot is my favorite. I will protect him with my life at all
Yeah.
costs. After
Somebody
that,
else, Fred.
I do. So
Yeah.
I'm reading Jingo right now, which is book 4. And Jingo is a Sergeant Colon and Nobby book, and I love it. I'm living
Yep.
for their little conversations while the world is falling to pieces around everywhere else. And
Yep.
they're
They just observe the world in a really
delightful.
in this wonderfully shuttered, innocent way
They're amazing.
that
And Fred is
highlight
the
the
guy that just
issues.
wants to go home in
Oh,
every
he
book.
just wants to go
He
home.
just wants to go home.
He
That's
wants a
it.
cup of tea and a good
Yeah.
meal, and
Yeah.
he's fine.
Yeah.
You know, he's uncomfortable when he's out of his comfort zone. Literally, that's the whole point. And he's ordinary. So he's your example of inbuilt isms. So bigotries that he's not aware that he's showing, because he's not being toxic. He's not a nasty person. He's not anti anybody, but it's such a part of his life to unwittingly, unknowingly keep those isms going in his terms of speech, in his way of interactions, not because he's nasty, but because he doesn't know any better.
I will say too,
it
because
highlights
I'm
beautifully.
such a barbarian lover, Sergeant Detritus makes me so happy. He's delightful.
If Detritus, and the lovely thing with Discworld is you don't have to read them in order. You genuinely don't have to read them in order. There are a couple that aren't great starting places because it helps to know about the characters, but most of them you can just pick up and read. They all have a separate plot, all of them. And Detritus appears as a character in one of the early standalones, Moving Pictures. And so you meet him before he's a policeman. You meet him before he's part of the Watch.
I just bought that one.
and you meet you watch him meet the troll that we know later is his partner, Ruby. And it's just such a sweet little subplot of this book. It's almost overlooked entirely. It's just kind of happening in the background. And the fact that that tiny little part of this one of these standalone books that isn't universally held as among the best continues to carry through as just part of the background in Discworld, that this is Detritus's partner, this is how they met. And, you know, Detritus gets quite old by the end of the series. But we know what Detritus and Ruby are going through and go through. It's really sweet.
That sounds it.
So, but it's just a background thing to the plots that are happening in the bigger books.
Sometimes those are the moments that stand out, though, right? They're the most memorable.
They're the things that you fall in love with when you've read more than a handful of Discworld books, and you start to see the common things that are tying the world together. And Discworld is one of the few series that the sum is larger than the sum of its parts. No individual Discworld book is the example of what Discworld is. Some get very close, and some are a long way from what Discworld is.
Right.
But Discworld, you need to have read sort of 5 or 6 before you've got a genuine feel of how this works as a series and why people become so obsessed with it. because it's just so wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, sorry, I got up on my soapbox and completely
that's great.
forgot
No,
my
you
job.
got to sell the books, Terry. Sell them.
I just love them. And I like the fact here that Joe was saying he's read a couple of Lackey, maybe a little repetitive. I usually tell people it's a little bit YA. They came out before YA was a thing. So, but they're generally softer in tone. They're low stakes. Good guys are going to be good guys. You know, the bad guys are going to be bad. There's no moral grey in Lackey. They're easy, nice reads. So yes, they do get a bit repetitive. But I like the messaging and the stories that goodness is worth it for its own sake. And yeah.
Oh no. Joe, feel better, Joe. Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, that the cough that's going around has been pretty bad. Yeah.
Is it whooping cough?
It's just
because we've had a notification here that we've just had an outbreak of whooping cough in New Zealand.
Ooh, not here. We've just been having a really bad flu.
Okay.
But it's been the type of cough that racks your chest.
Oh,
right? It hurts. And so it lasts, right, for a few weeks. So it's been pretty rough, but yeah, it is what it is, right?
Yeah, look after yourself. Goodness.
Absolutely. And thank you so much, Andy. You're probably gone by now, but thank you so much for stopping in and for cheering me on for so long as well. I really appreciate it. We've got some other recommendations of Kindred.
Oh, yes, Kindred.
Absolutely. Yeah, and a second for that. It's an amazing book. Let's see. Avid Book Junkie says, I have it but haven't read it yet. It's next on the list. Dark Bloom by Molly Macabre. Have heard nothing but great things about it.
I could end that sentence with I've heard nothing. That's the first time I've heard about it.
Okay. I've seen it around, but yeah. I'll have to write it down.
Just the title.
That's your read for 2025.
Seen what?
Dark Bloom by Molly Macabre.
Yeah, I have that one on my Kindle.
Oh, there you go. Because this is literally my first sighting of this as an entity of a thing.
I saw her interview with Mike and Roe on Bald and Balding. They did an interview with her a little while ago. So I watched some of that and then got her Dark Bloom book.
Nice. We've got some yeehaw dragons in their life.
I second this one.
Very cute story.
It is. And it's still got some intensity to it.
Yes, it does.
Good.
Yeah.
That's very good.
Needle and Leaf love here for the collation saga.
That's our lovely friend. Also one of the Merediths.
Yes.
Connected, of course, with
Guys, I'm going to need an entire shelf just for Meredith books. Like I have between Trisha and Andrew, and the problem is I have my non-fantasy and my fantasy books split up, so I can't put them together because
on the same shelf.
You're right.
You could have them making sure that your fantasy and non-fantasy shelves are next to each other, and so that their shelves align.
Well, the problem is though that I have my fantasy shelf
and a box. Oh my goodness!
So. Just to clarify, Collation Saga is in here from the Kickstarter. I have to somehow fit them.
Right? I had the same problem. I was like, where do I put these?
You get to rearrange your shelves. I'm such a nerd. I love when I have to do that.
I was going to say, your setup behind you looks absolutely lovely, Terry.
It does.
Thank you. Yeah, because who was it? Madison Goodyear. She found a person with a tiny little niche shop. Belligerently Bookish is their website, and they do these bookends that actually should be hanging out of my shelf, so that just the sign hangs out on the side, because this black bit just sits between the books.
Cool.
But I can't see it when I do that because it's on the wall behind me, and it would just be a slice pointed at my head. But I think they're amazing, so I wanted to show them off.
That is lovely.
So that was Robin Hobb and George R. R. Martin that I got, but they've got a lot of Tolkien stuff. It's still quite a limited stock in terms of range, but it's a small company. You know, they arrived in New Zealand, beautifully packed, undamaged, cared for. Thankful note for, thanks for supporting my little bookshop. I'm like, this guy, if he does well, the range is going to explode. And if you have a fandom you're a part of, getting these on your shelves, so beautiful. So beautiful. And you can choose which direction they face. So
that is nice.
You can, depending on which angle you see your bookshelf from. So anyway, but thank you.
Unlimited reads. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us too. And thank you. I still, it's still a question, but yes, thank you.
There is no question here, Kay. Just accept.
You know how everyone says I hate my own voice? That's the feeling.
She says in the most beautiful dulcet tones.
I know,
ever.
right?
It's not intentional.
I know.
No,
it's actually not a thing I have. I sound like my mum, and my mum died so long ago that it's still kind of nice when I have to listen to myself. And it's weird, but I'm okay with it because I sound so much like my mum. So,
Derry, that was absolutely sweet.
I used to hate it, obviously, because that's what happens when you're a young woman and you sound exactly like your mother. But I just lost it such a long time ago now that it's actually nice. So.
Brighton says the things they carried is great, very moving.
It is.
Tori can attest.
Yeah, I remember both of you talking about this in different streams, and it does sound amazing.
It's one of the most poignant portrayals of the kind of circular spiral of PTSD.
Yeah.
And it was a really, really good book.
Yeah, I should read that because I'm in a PTSD circle myself lately, so I probably should read that. But I need to see a yes, Jim, at the party can indeed start. Very late though. This is potentially too late for cool, Anita. Just saying.
Come on, Anita, we're in the same time zone.
I reckon, right? That's just rude. I mean, come on.
No, it's awesome. Thank you so much for stopping in, Anita.
Yeah. But Britton also was saying Lonesome Dove is a good one too. I read that a really, really long time ago, like before that was a TV miniseries. I think I read it before the TV miniseries came out because it was about to come out. And I really enjoyed it.
Nice. There's so many books. And then I look at my to be read on TV on Goodreads and then I just panic.
No, it's fair. We all do it. I mean, I quite famously reread a lot. And people are like, well, how do you read new? But I would rather read something new. And I'm like, I can't deal with the pressure of reading new things. When I first got to BookTube, I was like, I have to read all these things because they sound amazing. Yeah. And I've learned to go, it's such hard work for you to read new things. You're going to have to get pickier about what they're going to be. And you already love reading and you love rereading. Why would you change that?
Yeah, enjoy it.
It's hard to fight that FOMO a lot. But it's meant that I am both more risky and far less risky with new things.
If it helps any, Derry, I am trying to keep up and the FOMO is still there. Yeah. It will always be there. It doesn't matter how many new books I read.
That's right.
It's always going to hang over my head. So
allow myself to go, I'm probably not going to get to it. It's much less pressure on myself.
Exactly. I think taking the pressure off yourself, especially when you're doing BookTube, is huge.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. You started this for a hobby. You started it for fun. And then the pressure sets in at some point and, it's not meant to be stressful.
I have tried a lot of very different things this year in that I've tried to kind of go, because it's so hard to read new things, I want to get new things I know I'm going to like. Mm-hmm. And that makes it even harder to try and find a next read. So instead I've gone, I don't know if I like that. So I will find out. And that's enough of a reason to do the work. And while I've had quite a lot of misses, I've also found a couple of new favorites. So it kind of balances out. But very, very, very picky in the ones I will try. But I do want to hit Sunita next year because the right people have said the right things over so long. And they consistently said to me, you will enjoy it. You will enjoy it. So, and they're all people I trust. So
There you go.
I will get there.
In your own time. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
We have another recommendation. I want to see more people give the Lady Astronaut series by Mary Robinette Cowell a try.
Now, I'm pretty sure I've heard the title somewhere, but that's the first time I've noticed the name. I like the name. The name of the author is the first time I've seen that, but Lady Astronaut I've seen somewhere, and I loved it. I remember thinking, oh, that looks interesting. And I don't remember my next thought, but I think I've got it on my want to read somewhere.
And Anitha wants an update on what we're doing, Tori. What are we making? What are we doing with all the yarn?
I am spinning some merino and tussa silk roving into yarn.
Feels so lovely.
It's a cloud. It feels like a cloud. Here, I'll see if I can. It's hard to. It does it because it's like a dark charcoal gray black with a blue gray silk in it.
So pretty.
That really is pretty.
It's amazing.
And I am making ornaments as little gifts to go on cookie boxes. So I'm making granny square Christmas trees. So they're not done, but it'll have a tree trunk and then a little red and white ribbon on top.
Cute.
And I'm not being in any way productive because I offered to come on and moderate the chat because all of their hands are busy. All of the hands of both of them are all busy, and I've been doing a rubbish job. But
you're doing awesome, Derry. What are you talking about? You're good.
I'm trying to keep the chat involved in the conversation.
At some points, Tori and I are just zoning. We're focused, right?
Hey, it's something with crafting. But I get it. I was going to sit here and do my cross stitch that I've been working on now for over a year. I did take a big break in the middle of this year because it will be a gift for the lovely Evie. But I am working on it just very slowly at the moment. I didn't want to do that today because I wasn't feeling it. So,
that's fair.
And it's Vinay, who we couldn't talk about our books for next year for because we've all sent her our videos.
So what Derry is saying, go check out Vinay's channel, subscribe, and so get the notification bell, all that, so you get to see what that video is.
And then you will find out what all of us would have responded to that question. Because
what you should read next year.
And we told her first.
So we'll wrap up soon because I know we're hitting the 2-hour mark and we're hitting the part where my brain turns into butter, melted butter in particular. So, but yeah, if what any final thoughts, questions, topics we want to delve into before we my brain gives out? That's the more accurate statement.
Vinay, you gave them a sneak peek. No, we didn't. We deliberately did not say the first choice books that we wanted to read next year or other people to read next year.
We were asking everyone what their recommended read.
In fairness, I couldn't remember the book that I sent in a video clip 2 days ago. Yeah. I think I know which one I said, but I don't remember. Sure. So, because that's the way my brain works. You guys seen Inside Out?
Yes.
You know the little guys who work in the memory labyrinth who just like take the gray ones and chuck them?
Yep.
Oh, we don't read that.
That's like half my brain.
And then they replace it with the gum jingle from the commercial.
Yeah.
Well, we just set it up occasionally because we think it's funny. Yeah. That's so funny.
Daniel, also, that's not a concern because I've already been kissed by my prince. So we're good.
Oh, how gorgeous was that?
How quick you came up with that, too. That was brilliant.
Thanks. I have my moments.
That was just too cute. I'm sorry. No more questions.
Thank you so much.
Proud of you.
Do you want to wave and say hello, dear?
What was that? Oh, here we go. You caught the handsome prince comment.
There you go. Perfect timing.
Yep.
It was. Merry Christmas and all of that.
Thank you so much, Jim. That's huge. That means a lot to me. Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you to everybody in the chat. I know I started in the chat and I've sort of blasted my way in here.
That's what happens.
but I like to think I do sit on the margin of Curator.
I mean, we basically all kind of co-host each other's channels all the time anyway.
Yes.
But for those of you who are as much a part of the community as Kay and Tori and myself, who just hang out in the comments, thank you. Thank you for being part of our community and coming to the streams and hanging out with us.
Yes.
Because, without you, we're just talking into the void.
Yeah, and then we have no one to destroy our TBRs and no one to read books with us and talk about it with us and share in the love of reading. And when we get emotionally devastated with books, we need to talk about it.
With people who understand.
Misery loves company.
Yes.
And how profoundly words on a page can affect us, because only other readers understand. Other people who don't read think we're insane.
Probably. That's okay.
Whether we're right or not, they're right. Who cares?
I'm definitely insane, Derry.
Well, I mean, I have broken brain in other areas. I've been diagnosed with broken brain for other things, but reading apparently doesn't affect my sanity.
There you go.
So it's a good thing.
Brilliant.
And so thank you to everybody, and congratulations, Kate. Honestly, you're an absolute darling, and we all think the world of you.
Thank you so much for celebrating with me. I always get daunted by doing just random live streams without much purpose aside from chill and chat. So I absolutely appreciate everyone showing up, you guys co-hosting with me and just having a ball. Just, that's my favorite way to spend time with people. Cozy up, craft, do something, eat food, snack, drink. It's all good. Be merry, have fun. So thank you.
We love you, Kay. I'm so glad. It's always funny because whenever I'm talking with people I'm close to in BookTube, I'm always just kind of taken aback sometimes. I'm like, I get to be in the same space of the universe at the same time as these people, and that's so cool. So
and
cool.
That includes you, chat people.
Yes.
You are our friends too.
I think that you deserve a couple more zeros behind that too.
Absolutely.
And I'm so happy for you that you got to your milestone. And
awesome.
Onwards and
well
onwards.
Done. Keep doing what you're doing because it works.
Thank you. I'm just thrilled to be able to keep doing it, and I hope as next fall rolls around, more videos, because little one will be in school full time. So
that'll be a whole new set of stress. Don't worry about it. You'll still be busy.
Terry, you just crushed my hopes and dreams.
You don't want to get to that point and go, I thought I'd have all this free time. You're not gonna. I'm telling you now, it's still going to be tough.
And my dreams are dashed before 2025 crosses the line.
You're better to go in thinking not much going to change, and what little bit of time you gain is a good thing, than think you'll have heaps of time and only get this much.
Now, let's put this into, I was thinking one more video a week. I do one video a week. So I was thinking 2 videos a week.
You should have enough time.
Okay. All right. And temper my expectations.
Just don't be making plans to go crazy.
Oh, God, no.
That's not going to happen.
I've learned my hard lessons in the first few years.
But it will be lovely because you'll get a different interaction with the buddy, because you get stories. You get and really random stories. Tori, you'll know your kids will come back from a thing, whether it's school or a sport thing or whatever, and you'll get a perspective on the day that an adult just doesn't have.
Yeah, I'll get flashbacks. That's what I'll be getting.
A really random thing. And it's wonderful. So
the other day, one of the things that I love about raising children amongst literature is I think it was my 7-year-old the other day came up to me and she started her sentence with, "I rather think." And I was like, I love it here. I just do. I love it here.
Yeah, that's where you go. Okay, before you go any further, bonus point for that sentence.
Yes, right, exactly. Perfect. A+.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
I love it.
We do look forward to an extra video from you next year. That'll be awesome.
Thank you. Fingers crossed that my brain works enough as well, because that's also.
You won't know yourself. You won't.
Any parent will know sleep deprivation is
a thing.
It does get the sleep.
There's a reason the Geneva Convention calls it a war crime.
There you go.
Just saying.
Remember my toddler if this gets older.
Yeah.
Awesome. But yeah, no, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for 2,000 subs, guys, for watching, for commenting. I am so appreciative, and I'm so glad that I got to just chat with you all and have a fun time. If you're watching the replay, I hope you enjoyed the replay too, because replays of these are always fun. And leave your comments as you're watching if you're doing the replay, because that's fun to check
That's the
through as well
best.
and reply. Yeah, absolutely.
Looking at
So,
you, Esme.
there you go.
She's
Yeah,
so good at
looking
it,
at you,
right?
Esme. Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful evening or day. And as always, take care of yourselves.